Hi guys, welcome to video 11. What are candles and how do they work in a chart? We're going to dive straight into the computer for this one, like we did with the last video, and give you a rundown on how candles work and how to interpret them. Okay, back at the chart again. And in this video, we're just going to be going over, as I mentioned, what candlesticks are and how to interpret them. So we're back where we left off on the USD Swiss franc chart here on 15-minute resolution. And as you can see, a whole bunch of red and green candles. Now we've got this setting here on standard candles, as I mentioned in the last video, just to keep things simple. Now we'll zoom in a little bit more, turn auto off again, make these candles a little bigger so we can work with them a little easier. Now, if we pick, for instance, this candle here, excuse my terrible drawing, what you'll see here is a red candle with a solid rectangular body and two sticks coming out either end of it. And most of these candles you can see have sticks coming out, some long, some short. Now the candle is made up of two parts. It's made up of the body, which is the big bit, and it's made up of wicks, which are the small bits. Candle, wick, that's kind of where they got the idea from. So the wicks here, you'll see, are all different lengths. Some short, some long. Some candles don't have any at all, like over here. There's no wick here or there. Now, what the body tells us, it tells us a few things. So if it's red, it means that it closed at a lower price than it did when it opened. If it was green, it would mean that it closed at a higher price. Now, what this means on a 15-minute chart is that during the 15 minutes that this candle was open, the price dropped and closed at a lower price. So during that 15 minutes, the price dropped. So wherever the start of the big body is on a red candle is where it opened. The top, I should say, the top of the red candle body is where it opened. The bottom of the red candle body is where the price closed. Now, these wicks on either end show where the price had managed to reach during that period. So in this case, 15 minutes. So we can see from this candle here that it reached a high of here, where that wick stops, and it reached a low of there, but it closed here. And then, of course, you can see that it transfers straight into the next candle. That one also closed lower. You can see that it had a long wick. It reached all the way down to here, but it closed here. And underneath this line, you can see there's a small wick where it got a little bit higher than it started at one point. And then you can see the same thing happened again. This next candle, during that 15 minutes, opened here on the big body, closed here, had quite a high wick. It managed to reach here, and a short wick here. And then, of course, it moved along. But this one, on the other hand, closed at a higher point than when it opened, so the candle is green. And you'll see that all of them translate directly to the next one, more or less. Every now and again, you'll see a bit of a difference if the market moved quite a bit between when one candle closed and another candle opened, because there is a slight delay. And if there's big movement in the markets, you will see a slight difference. But usually they're pretty well lined up, so you can more or less follow it all the way from here to here. This one here closed here, opened here, closed here, opened here, closed here, opened here, closed here, opened here, closed here, and so on and so forth. Now, you'll see charts that have different colored candles depending on what people prefer. Some will have blue as the upward candles, and some people might have white as the downward candles. It just depends on what people's preferences are. Now, I'll be explaining later on about using a different color for downward candles as opposed to using red. The main point with that being to ward off some emotional effects that red candles can have on people. So we'll be going over that in a later video. But that is essentially how candles work and what they tell you. Now, obviously, in interpreting the candles and what they're doing, that is a whole nother thing, which we will go into later on, about how to read these candles and in terms of what a cluster of them are telling you, because if you look at this chart, it is telling you many things. There are a lot of little bits of information that this chart is giving you if you know what to look for. But at a zoomed up level, that is what a candlestick does. Okay, that is all for this video, and we will roll on to the next one.